Question number 136, surfactant. Surfactant, out of these 4 options, decreases the surface tension of the fluid lining in the alveoli. So, option for this one particular question is like reason why the decreases the surface tension of the fluid lining is it mainly which includes it's a complex structure surfactants which includes the lipids, the proteins and the carbohydrates that prevents the hair sacs of lungs from collapsing and the reducing surface and increase the surface tension. So, in its absence the surfactant is actually absent, then what happens, the immature lungs of premature babies or respiratory what is it called, the distress the syndrome will start developing. So, this makes like very important role of the surfactant. So, which decreases the surface tension of the fluid lining of the alveoli. So, correct option is 3. Question number 137, which one of the following is a possibility for most of us in regard to breathing by making a conscious effect. So, for this you out of these 4 options, one can consciously breathe in and breathe out by moving the diaphragm alone without moving the rib at all. So, option 3 is the correct answer because they breathe in alone without the moving the ribs. Okay, so only the diaphragm is moving the inspiration expiration, so not by moving the ribs. So, correct option is 3. Question number 138, the forceful volume of air will remain in the lung after the normal expiration is functional residual volume. So, this is actually the volume of air will remain in the lungs after the normal expiration. This includes what? ERV and RV. So, ERV and ERV plus RV. So, this tells you like this includes the expiratory volume, the functional residual capacity. So, this is a question number 138. Okay, the correct option is 2. Vital capacity, again the terminology side you are getting a question. Vital capacity is equal to tidal volume plus IRV plus ERV. So, by when you plotting the spirometric technique, the graphical representation that helps you to easily like recollect, right, instead of like studying by definition by means of spirometry like total and capacity and vital capacity, which easily help you to identify this reactions. So, option 4 is the correct answer for question 139. 140, the volume of air inspired or expired during normal respiration is called, it's a very simple question, the direct question they ask is a tidal volume, it is 500 ml in a healthy man. Question 141, we move to the next question 141, the factor which does not affect the rate of alveolar diffusion. They are given the 4 options: solubility of gases, thickness of the membrane, pressure gradient and the reactivity of the gases. The correct answer that you go for 4th option, that is reactivity of the gases. The reactivity of gases is the correct answer. Question 142, during the transportation of gases to maintain the ionic balance, chloride ion shift from, I told you already like chloride ion shift, that Hamburger effect. So, what is happening from plasma to RBC, that is 70% like bicarbonate sodium. See repeatedly this is the 5th type of the same concept we are getting the question. So, option 2 is the correct answer. Question number 143, a large proportion of oxygen remains unused in the human blood even after its uptake by the body tissues. This oxygen, so what is the fate of this oxygen when you go with this? So, when you talk about the fate of this oxygen, this acts as a reserve during the muscular exercises. During the muscular exercises, this reserve, the extra additional oxygen can be used up. So, first option is the correct answer. Question number 144. Again the 6th time they are getting the same question about 70% of carbon dioxide. So, 70% of the carbon dioxide is getting transferred by means of what? By means of bicarbonates, Hamburger effect, chloride shift, same type of question. So, option 2 is the correct answer. What type of carbonate? Sodium carbonate and the potassium bicarbonates. Question number 145, asthma may be attributed, asthma is because of its allergic reaction. If you go with something related with the immunological perspective, the basophils, the precursor groups of the mast cells, these mast cells which produce something called the histamines and the serotonins, the immunoglobulins, that is allergic immunoglobulin, that is IgE. This is responsible, actually this reagenic antibodies which produced by means of the mast cells, and this is responsible for allergic reactions. And what does it actually which produce? It produces histamine, serotonin. This you have studied an allergic response, like serotonin. Okay, so based on this concept, you go with the fourth option, that is allergic reaction. Okay, so 145, fourth option. Then you go with the 146. Asthma is actually characterized by, so asthma is what? Asthma is actually, what is asthma? Asthma, this things which comes from the type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. It is like spasm in a bronchial muscle. It is like conditions called as spasm of the bronchius muscle. This condition is called as asthma. 146. In immunological perspective, this comes under type 1 hypersensitivity, that is mediated by IgE, that is reagenic immunoglobulin, under the influence of the mast cells. Question number 146 that we discussed. 147, the figure shows diagrammatic view with the labels A, B, C and D. Select the option which gives correct identification, main functions and its characteristics. So if you go with all the four options, the first is the correct option, alveoli. Okay, C, thick walled vascular bag like structure. Of course, alveoli is responsible for the gaseous exchange, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide. So we go with the first option, that is the correct answer for question 147. We move to the next 148. In humans, which among this is actually important step in respiration? So the correct answer is utilization of carbon dioxide by the cells for the catabolic reaction, where you could see the respiration is actually the energy releasing enzymatically controlled catabolic process, which involves a stepwise oxidation breakdown of food substances including living cells. This oxidation breakdown of food materials within the cell release energy with the synthesis of what? Synthesis of adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP. Therefore, oxygen, so it is not a carbon dioxide, is utilized by the cells for these catabolic reactions. With this concept, we go with the fourth option, that is utilization of carbon dioxide by cells for catabolic reaction. Excuse. Question number 149. You match the items listed. So this is very common thing that you listed about the lung capacity, RV, IRV, VC, ERV and C they given. So with this, if you go with the correct option, the option 3 is the correct answer. So with this, A we go with Q and B we go with T, C with P and D with R and E with the S. It's a very common understanding. If you are very clear with the spirometric technique or you are very clear with the terminologies of lung capacities, you can very well answer for these questions, because the range is quite important. If you know the range of this, the tidal volume, ERV, IRV, TLC and all those things, like it's very easy to match with the correct option. So the correct answer for this question 149 is option 3. Question 150. Listed below are 4 respiratory capacities 1 to 4 and 4 jumbled respiratory volumes of the normal human adult. When you go with 150, it is actually the fourth ones, that is like 3500 ml and 1200 ml. So 150, it is the third one is the correct answer for this particular question. Question number 151. Coming to the 151, the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide in healthy human alveoli are, it's very repeated question again, it's like 104 40 mm Hg for the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. So this is for oxygen and this is for the carbon dioxide. Are there selectively, like they'll ask separate question for oxygen and carbon dioxide, together also they can ask this. For oxygen 104, carbon dioxide is like 40. This is for your human lung alveoli. Coming to question number 152, which of the following sets of conditions promote the dissociation of oxygen? Low partial pressure of oxygen and high of carbon dioxide in the blood. It should be high in the blood and low in the partial pressure of oxygen and high hydrogen ion concentration. So option 1 is the correct answer. So for question number 152, because the shift of oxygen hemoglobin, because if you very clear with the oxygen dissociation curve, as we discussed already, like the sigmoid curve which represents oxyhemoglobin, for myoglobin this is like hyperbolic condition. Clear? So having this in your mind, you can go with increased blood pressure, increase in hydrogen ion concentration, decrease in partial pressure of oxygen and increase in the partial pressure of carbon dioxide. That is Bohr effect. Bohr effect is like carbon dioxide concentration increases. So for 152, the correct option is 1. 153. 153, enzyme essential for the transport of carbon dioxide as a bicarbonate, because it's a bicarbonate like sodium or potassium bicarbonate with the help of zinc. So if you know the Hamburger chloride shift, that mechanisms, you would have definitely gone through this enzyme. The name of this enzyme is carbonic anhydrase enzyme. So option 3 is the correct answer, carbonic anhydrase. Because thrombokinase will not come here, succinic dehydrogenase carbopeptidase will not come here. So only the option 3 is the correct answer. 154. The reason why, because like into carbonic anhydrase, I told you, like CO2. We take like CO2, which like H2O. This gives rise to H2CO3. This is like reversible reaction that we could see. Here you could see the enzyme called as carbonic anhydrase. This is like carbonic anhydrase. When the carbon dioxide which combines with like water, the carbon dioxide combines with water which forms H2CO3. This is a carbonic acid. This is carbonic acid. Acid is getting formed. So what happens like then hydrogen ions, then again with the bicarbonate ions will be formed. This bicarbonate ions that we call it as potassium bicarbonate and the sodium bicarbonate, and this reaction only we call it as Hamburger effect, and the shift of the chloride ions is getting formed. This is called as chloride shift. The name of the enzyme is carbonic enzyme. So this shift is called as chloride shift. This is called as chloride shift. Okay. So for 153, the correct answer is 3. Which is true among RBC in humans? They carry to 20 to 25% of carbon dioxide. So question 1 is the option 1 is the correct answer, because blood is a medium transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. 97% which is of present of oxygen is transported RBC in the blood. The remaining 3% is carried out a dissolved state in the plasma, and 20 to 25% of carbon dioxide is transported by RBC, whereas you could see the 75% only, you could see the remaining things are getting transferred. So question number 154, they carry about 20 to 25% of carbon dioxide, the remaining like the 75% as a oxygen. So for question 154, option 1 is the correct answer. Question number 155. Coming to the question number 155. Yeah, 155. Following are the few characteristics of the disorders in the human body. So if you see the water secretion by the mucous glands, identify the disorders from the choices given below. So for this, the correct option for 155 is rhinitis. So option 2. Option 2 is for all the things the 4 is given. Rhinitis is the correct option, where the inflammation, that is like any word that end with the itis. Itis is actually end with suffix itis is inflammation. So it is inflammation. So it's an inflammation. So what is a rhinitis condition? Inflammation of the mucous membrane. So rhinitis is irritation and infection of the mucous membrane, which is at the nose. It may be caused by any viral infection, or maybe like allergic reaction that you take, like the rhinitis. Common symptoms like you could see the runny nose and post nasal drip that you could see, and this may be because of the dander and the pollen grains also. The allergens can also cause this type of inflammation. Okay, so rhinitis is the correct answer. Then come to the next question. Question number 156. 156, the ventilation movements of the lungs is by both diaphragm and the intercostal muscles and by the diaphragm. So option 4 is the correct answer. 157, the urge to inhale in humans results from rising the carbon dioxide, rising the partial pressure of carbon dioxide. The option 1 is the correct answer. For this, the reason you can ask is like because of the respiratory centers of the brain, which increases the inspiratory and the expiratory signals to the respiratory muscles. So oxygen does not have a significant direct effect of the respiratory center of the brain in controlling the respiration. So 157, the correct option is question and the option 1 that is rising PCO2. 158, the serous membrane which covers the lungs is called, as very simple question, is a pleural membrane, because of pleura, but as a heart we call it as a pericardium, right? So option 4 is the correct answer, pleura. So the fourth option is the correct answer. 159, if you take, so to generate pressure gradient to facilitate expiration and inspiration, the human body uses the intercostal muscles where? The diaphragm. So for 159, diaphragm, because it's present just below the lungs and it separates the thoracic cavity and your abdominal cavity. So it is made up of the movement that is like exists in the expiration and also like inspiration. When? Especially during the breathing. So diaphragm. Option 4. Question 160, amount of air in the lungs that remains after deep breathing is the fourth time we are getting this question. Residual volume. Option 2 is the correct answer. 161, the inspiratory reserve volume plus tidal volume in ERV is the same as IC and ERV. So IC and ERV, IC plus ERV. So this is for question number 161. It's same like that. IRV plus TV is equivalent to, it's equivalent to IRV plus TV plus ERV. So this both are same. So IC plus ERV is equal to IRV plus ERV plus TV. Next 162, large volume of air is present can expire at force flex is a vital capacity. So option 3 is the correct answer. So VC is what? TV plus. So VC, when you talk about VC, so what is the VC? ERV plus IRV plus TV. So this is actually the vital capacity. So TV plus IRV plus ERV. So this is like basic understanding. If you clear with the concept, you can answer any type of question which especially come from this type of terminologies. And question number 163, amount of oxygen supplied by 100 ml of arterial blood while passing through the tissues is 19 to 20 ml. So for question number 165, the correct option is 19 to 20. So that is the fourth option. So question number 166, according to Boyle's law, the product of pressure and volume is a constant. So volume of lung is getting increased, the pressure is getting decreases, it's inversely proportional. So if the volume of the lungs, if you inspire the air, what is happening? The volume of the lung is getting increased, then what is happening? The pressure is getting decreased. So if it is increased, another part is getting decreased. So the correct option for question 166 is that is first option. So if volume of lung is increased, the pressure decreases proportionately. Go to the next question, 167. Coming to 167, this is the third time we are getting the same type of question, emphysema. Chronic respiratory disorder caused by cigarette smoking. So again, we discussed about the emphysema. Emphysema, cigarette smoking, the breaking of the walls between the alveolar sacs. If anything which comes like, you just go with the emphysema. Third. Option 3 is the correct answer. See again the emphysema question. Emphysema is again, it's a cardiovascular, pulmoneural, renal. So it's definitely is a pulmonary because neural with the central nervous system, renal with the kidneys, cardiovascular is with the heart. So pulmonary is with the lungs. So option 2 is the correct answer. 169, Bowman's glands are found, actually 169, you take this question, the olfactory epithelium. So olfactory epithelium is the correct answer. So don't get confused with the Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule is with the kidneys, right? So here they discussed something about the Bowman's glands. It's the olfactory epithelium. So these are the branched tubuloalveolar glands that occur below the olfactory epithelium. What is the main thing? This mainly secretes the mucus secretions, and this epithelium to keep the layer, the membrane moist, and mucus also protect the cells, especially from the antigens like bacteria and the dust particles. So olfactory epithelium, this called as Bowman's glands or the olfactory glands. So the first option is the correct answer. Question number 170, which of the following is the most appropriate normal circumstances? During inspiration, the intrapulmonary pressure is less than the atmospheric pressure. Yes, exactly. You would have studied in difference between the inspiration and the expiration. Question 171, choose the wrong statement. If you look at this for options, it seems to be 1, 3 and 4. All these 3 are correct, but the wrong is the total volume of air accommodated in the lungs at the end of the forced inspiration is called as the vital capacity. So this is the wrong, the question, and the option 2 is the wrong one, because the total volume of the air is accommodated in the lungs at the end of the forced inspiration is called as the vital capacity. The reason is vital capacity is the maximum volume of air a person can breathe even after the forced expiration, and the range it goes with the 3400 to 4800 ml. So this is what the volume of air of a person can breathe out after a forced expiration. So having this in mind, so you take option 2 is the incorrect statement. So that's the correct answer. Question number 172, dead space air. This is again like fourth time you're getting the question. 150, anatomical dead space or normal dead space, anything which has 150 ml. That is the correct answer for question number 172. Moving to the 173 question, 173, the correct answer is tidal volume. The amount of air volume of air that can be inspired or expired normally is called tidal volume. Between breath, the 174, between breaths, the intrapleural pressure is approximately, intrapleural pressure is what, 4, it's a 4 mm per Hg. So 174 question 4, the reason is the intrapleural pressure is always below the which pressure? Atmospheric pressure, because of the connection between the two pleura, which is similar to the wet pieces of paper adhered to each other. Because the two wet papers get adhered to each other, how it will be the same mechanism that you could see in this case, because both these membranes seems to be wet. So if intrapleural pressure is equal to the atmospheric pressure, the lungs would collapse actually. So that is actually lubricant in the pleural pressure. So what happens, like the pressure definitely it be varying. So between the breadth of the intrapleural pressure, it's approximately 4 mm mercury is less than the atmospheric pressure has to be maintained. So option 2 is the correct answer for question 174. Question 175, blood carries carbon dioxide mainly in which form? I told you, like sodium bicarbonate or potassium bicarbonate. Okay, so option 3 is the correct answer. Which of the following can bind several hundred times more affinity? I told you, like as far as affinity is concerned, like affinity is like if it oxygen, you take carbon dioxide, you take carbon monoxide. These affinity is very less. These two seems to be temporary, but this affinity is more. This is permanent. This with the hemoglobin. When this combines with the hemoglobin, so which combines with the hemoglobin for the oxygen, hemoglobin plus oxygen, this affinity is actually less when compared to the carbon monoxide. So here this seems to be permanent. So this is oxyhemoglobin, this is carboxyhemoglobin, this one is carbaminohemoglobin. This carbaminohemoglobin is a condition where the hemoglobin which shows a greater affinity with what? With the carbon monoxide. Okay, so from this we go with the first option CO. Name the pulmonary disease in which the alveolar sacs involved in gas exchange drastically reduced due to damage in the alveolar sac. Emphysema, this is like 7th or 8th time you are getting the question. So emphysema, option 4 is the correct answer. Question number 178, which of the following structure close to the glottis during swallowing? So prevent the entry of the food in the windpipe. So I told you in the very beginning itself, we have epiglottis and we have a gullet. Epiglottis for the windpipe and the gullet is for the food pipe. So option 2 is the correct answer. Question 179, during carbon dioxide transport, HCO3 diffuses from erythrocytes to plasma and it turn upsets the ionic balance momentarily. In order to keep the ionic balance, an equal number of chloride pass into erythrocytes from plasma. This process, very simple. The chloride shift again, this is the 9th time we are getting the same question, so with the same topic. So Hamburger effect or chloride ion shift. Okay, so option 1 is the correct answer, Hamburger phenomenon. The last question for this chapter, 180. During winter, a person died during sleep. The room was closed and a container with burned and charcoal was found in the room. What may be the possible reason for this? Logical question, higher order thinking skill question. Here out of these 4 options, you can take the second option, that is hemoglobin has more affinity to combine with carbon monoxide. Again, this is the answer, the carbaminohemoglobin. The logic is between the hemoglobin which shows a greater affinity with the carbon monoxide when compared with the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. Here it is temporary, this one is a permanent. So why the person died in the closed room? Because the carbaminohemoglobin, the hemoglobin shows greater affinity with the carbon monoxide, and this seems to be permanent. So for this the correct option is 2. Okay, by this we are completing this particular chapter in the human physiology. That is breathing and exchange of gases. Thank you for joining with us.